DigitalituM podcast at the intersection of manufacturing and digital transformation. Today is a special episode as we can highlight a supporter of our podcast, the Messe Frankfurt with SPS Atlanta. Looking to take your manufacturing operations to the next level? SPS Atlanta 2025 Smart Production Solutions Show is the event you can't afford to miss. Happening September 16th to the 18th at the Georgia World Congress Center, SPS Atlanta brings together the latest in industrial automation, from smart sensors to robotics to cybersecurity, AI, and IIoT. From plant managers, engineers, and system integrators to C-suite executives, this is where you'll find the solutions, business connections, and ideas to future-proof your operations. Register now and join the inaugural U.S. edition of this global automation event, the SPS Atlanta 2025. Visit spsamericas.com to learn more about it, or click on the link below in the show notes. Welcome to the DigitalituM podcast, episode 22. My guest today is my old friend and business partner, Mark Eferdinger, now with Card Monroe Automation. Welcome to my podcast.
Hey, Marcus. Great to see you again. Happy to be here.
For our listeners, tell us a little bit about yourself.
About myself. So people say I have an accent. So my first language is also German, but Austrian. And I've been living in the States now for 15 years. I have quite a journey through automotive, through pharmaceutical, and also back to automation. And America is a large country. I worked mostly in the Southeast region, even though I feel like I have already seen every single state in the United States.
That's great. And tell us a little bit about your career, how you went into the career. What did you study?
My background is here also, again, a little bit unusual because I won a green card in the lottery. So I just hopped on a plane, flew to America. After 2 months, I got 3 job offers and I started working for Schaeffler. My background is also mechanical engineering. So I did an apprenticeship in Austria. I did also my academic education there. And with that background and speaking German, it was pretty good finding, it was kind of easy to find a good spot to grow. And I started with a Schaeffler in automotive, very quickly moved into project management, and always liked the aspect of managing projects, having responsibilities, but also accountabilities and the engineering aspect of it.
You mentioned that from there you went into the pharma industry. What did you do there?
Yeah, same thing, actually developing packaging, but it was very short-lived. I only spent a year there. It's a quite different industry. Also, organization changes made it happen that I become part of the R&D part. And as a mechanical engineer, trying to develop medications, it's not a great fit. So I went back to engineering, where I feel very home.
And then after that, what did you do then?
Then I worked as a director for a German packaging company. The German packaging company had actually a very, very limited product availability for services. So I developed there a lot of new products, especially in cooperation with customers. They were quite successful. Unfortunately, the company is not around anymore because of was a business decision to merge with their parent company. And then I started my own company, and I tried to help European companies coming to the United States, but it's quite a challenge for them because America is an expensive country. You can make your good money, but as you know yourself, it's quite difficult for European companies to be successful here for many different reasons. Not only culture, but also expectations. The U.S. market, when it comes to the industrial sector, is not very risk tolerant. Yeah, I would say
risk aware.
The American customers when they work with a new supplier, they test you at first, right? And you don't get the million order right away. So you need to build up that trust. You need to actually be connected to your customer. That means you need to travel. You need to be on site. And it takes a couple of meetings to just land a small little project. But from there, you get evaluated. How you grow, what do you do for the customer, how is it working with you? And today we have very high tariffs. We have still, maybe it will change tomorrow, but currently we have 50% duty on steel and aluminum products, which is quite a bit. So a lot of just tangible products will not be competitive anymore. And yeah, also when we think about the different terminology, how is steel described in Europe? S 235 JR, which is just a common steel. What is that in the US?
Yeah.
What is an AISI specification? So things are very complicated when you don't live in the market, when you don't have any education here. It's challenging. And so I tried to help here a couple of companies, but also it's challenging for them from a monetary standpoint. And so, I decided going back to employment, and now I'm working in sales for Card Monroe.
And tell us a little bit more about Card Monroe Automation. What are they doing? What are their products? What problems do they solve in the industry?
So Card Monroe Automation is located in Greenville, South Carolina. It's basically an automotive hub for especially the German-speaking company or companies from German-speaking countries. BMW has their largest facility there. And so Card Monroe supports automotive, but they want to diversify. They also do projects in food and beverages. They do projects in the chemical industry, in aerospace. I just was in South Carolina at the customer where they do actually part for the construction business. So what Card Monroe Automation does is solving the problems of labor shortage, redundant, monotone work. They automate that, and they bring a lot of solutions to a customer where they actually want to have either a higher frequent, higher output, more stable production, higher quality, and they develop everything from a concept to the machine, do the commissioning, install it, and then still maintain everything. For Card Monroe, it's very important to have a strong relationship with customers, and Card Monroe focuses now developing stronger relationships with customer. This is where I come into the game.
And what type of, as I understand, they're building machines, but what do these machines then produce? What is the typical product out of that?
Yeah, beautiful. Basically everything again, starting from palletizing, starting from easy assembling, from packing, from like the customer today, we discussed a lot of options for drilling. Just drill a hole in a certain frame. In that case, was a wood frame, and then later on put a rod through, assembling it. So many different things. So there is no limit. So our engineers, they are extremely creative when it comes to problem solving. We have a lot of vision systems in place where we can verify that everything is at the right place. So they also make machines for quality inspection. Like we support also a very big tire company, and where we help them making sure they get the right rubber composition together. I mean, the options are endless. And this is also what we see right now in the United States. The manufacturing part is very important for the US, but it is also at the same time very, very minimal. For example, because I looked up the numbers recently, from the gross domestic product, manufacturing is only 10% in the United States. In the 90s, it was between 21 and 25% of the US GDP, gross domestic product.
Yeah.
Whereas today in Germany, it's still 19.6%. On the European average, it's around 15.6. So these are numbers from Statista. And so what America does now, what we feel, because you also work in that field, we play a lot of catch up. So right now, there's a lot of stuff going on. Companies say, hey, we have this product, we want to assemble it. What do? We want to preferably make it the United States because we have tariffs out of Mexico, out of Canada. We need to do it domestically. What are the options? Like another customer visited the import product heavily from China. They want to shut it down because they see now it's a big risk. We don't know. What are the tariffs now? Is it 150% or what's going to happen?
And it can change every day.
Right. So you as a business, you must have predictability what is going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
And also, it was amazing. I mean, they have a very large facility, so they import that, but then the store, it takes a lot of space, and this is also something what they don't like.
Yeah.
And sometimes when they bring in products, maybe they have some defects. It's difficult to ship them back. So there are a couple of challenges. You have challenges in automation. You have challenges just importing it from somewhere. But overall, what we see right now is that the market is heading towards more domestic production. We lack of labor on the shop floor. Therefore, another call for
That's where the whole automation comes in.
Exactly.
Use less manpower for more output or replace repeatable tasks where you don't find operators anymore and automate that with machinery and robots.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I mean, just for the listeners to throw out some numbers again. I mean, just working on the shop floor, some companies pay $25 that someone pulls a cart around and just feeds an assembly machine. That was unheard of, I would say, 5 or 10 years ago. Now, with that hourly rate, they cannot even find people.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge. In machine builders, there are more or less two versions. The one focus on more or less serial machine building. They have a product portfolio and you can buy machine A, B, or C. And then there are the custom machine builders. You give them a challenge and they build the machine for that. In what category would you put Card Monroe Automation?
I love that question. That question alone explains that you're an expert in that field. Because we both, have European background. So we know that for automation companies, it was always discussed, we need to actually get rid of this customized solution. We need to have a modular development and whatsoever. But what is always forgotten is what does the customer want? Because that will tell you how successful you will be. So for Card Monroe, it means we make you customized solution. It's very seldom that we have a machine what we sell to another customer in the same way. Everyone wants to have certain things in a different way. But what we have for good reason is sometimes we develop a machine, it gets put in place, and then another one says, hey, I want to have the same. Like, for example, in the manufacturing locations, they are sometimes spread out across the nation, and one plant becomes the guinea pig, and the other one says, okay, it's good, we also want to have it, but we have a little bit
we have it a little bit different, and we need this and this, and we may use a different
customize it then a little
PLC
bit more
system or stuff like that.
The core product is the same, but whereas, sorry that I pull the Germans now in, they think about modularization, what is the same, and creating a standard. The US approach is very pragmatic. So you go in, discuss it with the customer, they strip it down, okay, all that stays the same, and then we build it up from there. It's beautiful. It's a very hands-on approach. It's very, what do you need? We need to test that. What I also enjoy very much at Card Monroe Automation is the fact that we offer not only a simulation that customers can see that, they love it, because then they can visualize how it looks, how everything moves. But the next step is actually they can emulate the whole process We have a very special, sophisticated software for that. And what we do is basically we build them up a digital twin.
Yeah, that is actually a digital twin where you have a machine, a digital replica in your virtual world, which is engineered from a mechanical and electrical design point, put the software on it, and then test the software to the machine already before the machine actually exists. And therefore, troubleshoot already things in the software, set up parameters and things like that, with the advantage, for example, to reduce the commissioning time then, which back in the day was what I did, bringing complex production machines alive as a PLC and robot programmer. That's why this is all very familiar to me.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And thank you for this concise summary, because customers love that, this virtual commissioning. So this is how people in sales advertise that. But it's exactly what you said, and I want to repeat that because it's so important. You reduce actually the installation time. You actually can debug already everything on the code. And I mean, you have way more experience and
Do you
knowledge
know
about that.
another big value what a digital twin brings in at a later point in the lifetime of the machinery? Just imagine the machine runs 3, 4, 5 years, and now the customer asks you to add another product type.
Correct.
Which is normally a retrofit, mechanical, electrical, and software changes. If you have a digital twin for that, you actually can do and try this all in the digital twin. And when it comes then to the actual retrofit, the machine downtime can become very short, more or less. Take the old parts out, put the new parts in, wire that up, download the new software version, turn the machine on, ka-ching, it works.
Exactly, yeah. And today we had here really good conversation with a customer, and we talked just about one section of this automation section, but he guided us already through the shop floor and said, I would like to have that, and over there, this packing also automated. And so he was really excited to hear that we can develop all that. And when there is once a digital version of that, it's easy to add on from there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and with your brand, DigitalituM, I think here in the United States, it's truly lived this digital advantage. Customers don't hesitate to use it. We, as Card Monroe Automation, we have to be very cautious what we do, because certain digital solutions can be very expensive, like the simulation tool what we currently use. However, I have the pleasure that we probably talk about one of your products soon at Card Monroe, what you actually provide. So I appreciate here the service what you offered already to me and to the company, because companies are looking how we can reduce the burden, especially American companies. What they always see, especially the good ones, the fast growing ones, they don't hesitate to take on the risk and try out a new digital product. And so, yeah, I appreciate working with DigitalituM with you. And I hope we can have, hopefully next week already, here the first reviews.
Yeah. So what we do at DigitalituM is we provide you with a toolbox of digital tools. And when we look into tools, every one of us have toolbox, but each of our toolboxes are different. Your toolbox has different tools than my toolbox. There's some customization. The question is, why do we need so many tools? Why is there not just this one super mega tool which can do all and everything? Let's look in the example of a screwdriver. Imagine you have a flathead screw and you have a Phillips screwdriver. Are you able to open or tighten or untighten that screw? No, it doesn't work, because this tools combination doesn't work. You need the right tool. You need the flathead screwdriver to the flathead screw. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And that's why you need all these different shapes of screwdrivers and all these different pliers and all this different size of wrenches and stuff like that. In the digital world, it's the same. If I look on your phone, how many apps do you have? Is there this one app which can do all and everything? Or how many apps do you have on your iPhone?
I don't know, multiple. Of course, yeah.
Because you need one app for your calendar, you need one app to take pictures, you need one app to view pictures, you need one app to write emails, you need one for this, you need
I
one
have
for
two
that.
for emails.
Yeah, and so it adds up.
Yes.
And that's how I see it in the rest of the digital world as well. There are so many different digital tools on one side, and on the other hand, there are so many different problems. The challenge in this particular case is that people in manufacturing are kind of overwhelmed because on one side there are all these different problems. They're deep in trying to bring this all to work, and every day there's another AI tool coming out on LinkedIn, and you lose your overview. I call this then the digital fog, because you are in the fog, you don't know where things are, you only see it very blurry, and you're not guided anymore. That's where we come in. On one side, with our manufacturing experience, we understand the problems of our clients. And on the other hand, we're connected with a lot of different solution partners, which have different solutions to solve a lot of different problems. And so that's how we bring that together to help you, the manufacturer or machine builder, to find the right tool to become better, faster, and more efficient. That's what we all need, right?
And I appreciate in particular that you guide me, the company, through this fog, and you help us handpicking that. You do it on a very honest way, what works for us, what tool we need. Is it a more powerful tool, or is it just an entry model already good enough for us? This is very important.
Yeah. Compare us kind of like to the insurance broker.
Yes,
With the
exactly.
insurance, you can go straight to the State Farm agent, and the State Farm agent wants to sell you, of course, his insurance package with all the different insurance for home, auto, and everything. And he, of course, says that my product is the best. And if you go to the farmers, they say they're the best. If you go to an insurance broker, you tell actually them what do you want, what's your budget, and they shop all the different insurances which are on the market and then recommend the best fit for you. And we kind of do the same thing, not for insurances, that's not our business, but for digital tools in manufacturing. That's our core competency.
Yeah, and that's very good, because for Card Monroe, it's very important that we can pass on this efficiency to customers. So automation solutions can be quite costly, but therefore it's also important that we all as a company work very efficiently, that we reduce our hours, what we spend on certain machines or projects, and these tools come in extremely handy.
And in digital transformation, in my point of view, there's always also a journey. You don't start with the super most complex tool at the beginning. You start with something easy, low cost, specific problem solving only. Try that. You kind of go up that ladder in your digital transformation journey. And at a later point of time, you do something more complex. And at the end, in the future, you do the super complex things. The thing is, if you don't start with that digital transformation, as everything gets better, faster, more efficient, and way more AI tools are coming up, if you don't start now, tomorrow you're overwhelmed with all and everything. So that's why you better start now and don't push that topic of digital transformation for your company in the mañana mode. We do that mañana, we do that mañana. Today we have to solve these problems first and then we do it mañana. No, that's the wrong thing.
Yeah, and so I'm very happy and excited because I met already the R&D team. So we have two locations. We have one in Greenville, South Carolina. One is close to Chattanooga in Tennessee, in Hickson. And both locations invest in newer technology. How can we be more competitive? And no one is actually shy about trying a new software, see what else is out there. I mean, of course, it needs to be reasonable, but I appreciate where you help us here, getting a good summary together and then show us how it works. And after trial period, someone will make a decision how it moves forward. So I mean, what I really appreciate is that we can pass it on to customers. For us, it's a good way to stay competitive. And we also see that certain customers are more tech savvy, some are less. It really depends, and we can tailor that to each.
Yeah, that's again this customized approach.
Yeah.
We kind of assess where you are, what you need, what's your budget, and then pick hopefully the right tool for you with our experience, recommend that to you, but then also be part of that implementation to make sure you're using this tool the right way and have the success. Because what is the worst thing what can happen is you buy this new shiny tool, nobody knows how to use it and operate it. In the digital world, there comes then even that topic. Hey, Mark, did you hear this new digital app? I heard it takes my job away. We better boycott that. Rumors like this on the shop floor. You know what I'm talking about. And then this new shiny tool sits in the toolbox. Physically speaking, nobody uses it and collects dust. That's the worst thing what can happen.
Exactly.
That's why the implementation is actually the critical phase.
Yeah, the whole overall journey is so important. And again, I know I highlight that because I think from my experience, it's so important that you participate on the whole journey. You help deciding, you give a very quick rundown in a very American way, which is really important to be successful, and then you support it long term. So this is in particular important when, let's come back to European suppliers. If they're not present, they cannot do that. If it's done from a different continent with 9 hours time difference, never ever it's gonna fly.
Yeah. And there's the stereotype about the Germans and the Europeans with, from us, East Coast, 6 hours time difference. And then if you go West Coast, even 9 hours difference. It's hard to reach these guys in Europe over the phone. They're already sleeping when we awake. But it's also the different culture in replying to emails. They sometimes take a week or so until they reply to an email. And unfortunately, the folks in Europe have more vacation and way more holidays than we have. During the summertime specifically, it's very hard to reach our European friends.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. And everyone who works in international business knows that becoming successful in the US, sometimes it works with a partner, having a good partnering company, and they need to have also experience in the market, obviously, and need to be well connected. Yeah. For Card Monroe, what we are looking, because Card Monroe Automation was established 2 years ago after an merger, because before it was a different company name. The founder still works there. Amazing. He's very hands-on. He loves the engineering aspect. He knows every project what is going on. You still feel this startup culture. It's amazing. Everyone is very motivated. And since this esprit is there, it's very, very successful. For us, I think overall the next years will be really good. Right now, I feel like some are waiting to cut POs, but I think the next years in automation, in manufacturing will be excellent.
I think from an economic and political standpoint, manufacturing definitely will grow in the US. It has to grow, and therefore more factories are needed, more machinery is needed, as manufacturing will not be done the same way as it was done 50 years ago. It only works in an efficient way with a high grade of automation. Of course, therefore, the machines are getting more and more complex, which then also needs a higher level of, for example, maintenance and service people. But even on that side, digital tools can help. There are these topics like give field service people and maintenance people the information they need at the location they are in order to fix the problem the right way and not doing something wrong and causing, for example, unplanned downtime. And as in the year 2025, everybody of us has this magical tool called smartphone in their pocket, which can do so many things. it is actually possible to do that through specific systems. There are additional technologies like augmented reality or virtual reality, which allow you to visualize very complex drawings of, for example, complex machineries and look inside and understand, therefore, the problems and the way how it works better, which then helps in the solving of a particular problem. There's IoT, which connects the machine to the internet and transmits the data, and you can evaluate the data and you can see if the performance of the machine already goes down before it actually breaks. The whole use case, for example, of predictive maintenance versus preventive maintenance. And that's where then AI comes in place to analyze this all.
Yeah, and I have here a really good story from Card Monroe Automation. They equipped one of their machines with cameras, and there was a mishandling there. And due to the fact they had the cameras there, they looked into what was the failure mode, what happened here, we don't understand, because two things came together, which are statistically very unusual, that these two things can happen. But at Card Monroe, we could actually see that happen, could resolve the root cause, and yeah, so it became basically a preventive. We didn't predict that it will happen, but we prevented that failure mode from happening, like the robot gripping something because of a weather change. And you never know what's going to happen. You cannot predict all the environmental conditions when it comes to automation.
Yeah, but you can predict certain things, like, for example, a wear part is a very good example. And I throw the Tesla example out there. On a Tesla, your brake pads, which are a wear part, are on a sensor which measures the thickness. And in every other car, you get a stupid fault message in your dashboard and the blinky, and you need to do something. And it's always annoying, right? When you get any type of fault message in your dashboard. The Tesla goes a different way, as they are already connected to your phone and they know your calendar. They actually book, in this case, an event in your calendar to the next Tesla shop. Of course, the next Tesla shop knows already that Mark with his Tesla is coming with a brake pad issue. And because they know it already, they're prepared, and they can do like a Formula One style box stop. You drive in, they do the brake pads in a couple of minutes, and you're out. And in the meanwhile, you even drink a nice cappuccino, and you're connected to their Wi-Fi. Isn't that awesome? And you check your emails in the morning. And for you, the client, means it's convenient.
Efficiency.
You don't need to think about it. You can focus on your core tasks. And I would say you're even willing to pay a little bit more, as if you would need to organize that all yourself. You have to buy let's say, even buy the brake pads yourself and bring it to the shop and make an appointment and figure out when they have time and do all of that.
And
and the same example works in the machinery world as well. As in every machine, there are wear parts, some type of belts, cylinders, any type of mechanical parts which have a defined lifetime.
And this is exactly the point where a brand can really capture the customer by surprise. Because you spoke about Tesla brake pads. That's correct. This is great because it's just a burden. And so when it comes to machinery, to automation solutions, you also want to be connected to your customer. So internally, we want to actually offer soon more to our customer when it comes to service packages. I cannot say more now here on this podcast, but there is a lot of work in process already, and I hope we can roll out these solutions soon to our customers. And I think this is something where Card Monroe Automation can really make a difference to others. It's a very family-oriented company where we also want to do business in a very honest, transparent way. That, again, was the customer, they received an automation machine. The scope of work was 2 pages long, and the machine doesn't work. Engineering manager is pretty unhappy. A lot of money was spent. I mean, that time he was not in charge. However, this is not what should happen.
And that's the worst case. What
Yes.
can happen that you spend a lot of money, you think you get the machine you need to fix your manufacturing problem, and then it doesn't work, uses a lot of space, doesn't work, and doesn't provide the production output it was promised. And then you either have to spend a lot of time and money to fix it, or go the extra burden and maybe buy a new equipment, which then hopefully works better.
Exactly. And these are things, you see it all the time. And that's the reason why American customers, they really want to be well supported. They want to have the feeling, yes, I really care about you. And this is what I, in particular, and Card Monroe Automation as a whole wants to do.
And that's where also the service part comes in, and the local service. As if you're a company, let's say from Europe, and you want to do that service part from there remotely, it is just different. There's a time difference, there's the large distance. If you need to fly somebody in, it never works in a day. There might be even visa issues nowadays or immigration issues. And then it takes 2, 3, 4 weeks until that specific service technician or service engineer is able to go to the client's location. That's 4 weeks of downtime. Who can afford that?
Yeah. And sometimes language barriers, what is that called in English?
Language barrier comes then on top. Even as a lot of Europeans speak English, most speak British English, and American English is a little bit different. Then we have here different measurement systems.
Yeah.
They always think in the meters. We think in the inches and feet, and in the pounds and in the gallons and stuff like that. That's they just don't get it. Our European friends.
And so therefore it's really important being very connected to a customer, speak their language literally, and
understand the culture.
Yes. And be part of that. Be part of the customer journey from receiving a machine in, firing up, producing parts, and improving it over time. So again, the digital solutions are a big driver here also for the mechanical parts, because with the visualization, because we have such complex production ways already. So we need to break it down. We need to visualize it. And for that, we need already very sophisticated tools. Like Card Monroe has such incredible good personnel. I mean, everyone specializes on something. No one knows everything. The team comes together. I mean, there are so many engineers working behind the projects to deliver it really fast in a short time, but also with a very high success rate.
Do you have actually some numbers to share? How many employees are at Card Monroe? What's an overall revenue? What's the company make?
Right now, they are hiring quite some people. I would refer to the website because it's changing. I want to be not understating and overstating, but it's a mid-sized company, again, by 2 locations.
We put the website address down in the show notes.
Excellent. Thank you. And if anyone has questions, wants to reach out to me, feel free to also share my phone number and email.
And of course, Mark's contacts are also down in the show notes.
Thank you.
Yeah, there are some upcoming shows here in the Southeast. SPS Atlanta is happening November 16 to 18. And then in South Carolina, there is the South Carolina Manufacturing Expo. And I also think South Tech is coming soon. Do you have dates for these 2 events?
Yes, excellent. Yeah, I also want to say thank you here for SPS. Thank you for the support. Thank you for posting that you actually exhibit there, that you're part of the journey. So the management team became aware of it through your posting, and I, myself, and my supervisor, we will be there. We will walk the show. We'll see. Maybe it's a great show for us as well to exhibit there. But yeah, we will be probably exhibiting at Southeast. It's coming up in October, the 3rd week of October in Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah, so then 3rd week of October is South Tech in Greenville. And I believe in the 1st week of November is the South Carolina Manufacturing Expo. So more or less from now on, every month there is something. September, SPS Atlanta, the Smart Production Solutions Show. The DigitalituM booth is 1027. Then comes South Tech, and then comes the South Carolina Manufacturing Expo.
If any one of your listeners wants to visit Card Monroe Automation in Greenville at South Tech or Southeast, how they call it now, they can visit us at booth 1439.
But I definitely will stop by there.
Excellent.
Let's do a quick look into the future. AI is the major topic. What do you think AI will bring for manufacturing? Do you think it only will do good things? Do you see also some challenges? What are your feelings about that topic?
So, like always with any tools, with anything in our life, it can be good, but it can be bad. I have a very American approach to it. I would like to embrace it, to use it, and not overregulate it right away before we know what we can do with our tool. So where I see things, where I not see AI is it will not screw on some bolts on some machines. AI is a digital product and it will therefore stay in the digital part. I see a lot of applications like for programming, PLCs will heavily benefit from that. I also see it an enormous trend now in the service, like machine monitoring, where AI can be super beneficial with
The whole
evaluation
part
of
vision.
data.
In the whole vision part, the evaluation of
Yes.
events and stuff like that, that's definitely a big part.
I mean, you're an expert already here. You know a lot of applications. You worked with them. I probably would like that you also stop by and maybe host or we host you for a day to see what is going to happen with AI. So I'm very optimistic. I'm very excited about products. We also go always to trade shows and see what is out there. What are the best products that we can make even better products, cheaper products, and more efficient products. I think AI will also help in whole manufacturing planning. I will do a tremendous job in the service efficiency. When you shut down machine, it will help you. Also, the overall manufacturing execution part will be significantly influenced there, but unfortunately, it will not cut this deal. It will not, I don't know, order extrusion material. Maybe, yeah, but it will
Maybe
not.
in the ordering part, but
Yes, but it will not empty the truck per se. But overall, I'm very optimistic that